Hello, I'm Jess Gillum, I'm a saxophone player and I'm so excited to have joined the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra for a concert with Vasily Petrenko. We played two pieces together, Fantasia by Villa-Lobos and Rant by John Hall, and it's streamed from the incredible Royal Albert Hall. It's available to watch from the 25th of March and you can find out all the details at www.rpo.co.uk. I really hope you might be able to join us.
It was really amazing to play with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, especially in the Royal Albert Hall. It's such a special venue at any time, but to see it empty was just so. It was really heartbreaking, and it kind of made the concert feel even more special in a way. It was brilliant to play Rant. John Howell wrote it for me a couple of years ago, and it incorporates lots of folk songs from the area I originally come from in Cumbria. So it's always a reminder of home, which I haven't seen for quite a long time now since we've been in lockdown. And also just brilliant to play it with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. They're formidable string players. It was, yeah, a really great experience. It was really interesting to work with Vasily. He had such a close attention to detail in all of the pieces, and was really looking at all of the tiny things happening in the instrumentation. And it was really inspiring to work with someone who has that kind of love for music and the emotion overall, but also the extreme attention to detail. I think one of the best things about working with different orchestras and meeting different conductors is everybody's so different. You hear so many different perspectives and ideas, and yeah, it was different to anything I'd done before. It is really surreal to be playing without an audience, and I do try and imagine people watching at home, but it's quite difficult to enter the kind of state of flow that you're used to trying to get to when you're playing to an audience. It's much easier to build a connection to people that you can see rather than kind of imaginary people watching at home. But I think knowing that people are watching, and kind of, I always think of all the cameras as as like little people. They're like the little eyes and ears that send it out into the world. It's not like being in a recording session, because you know that it's still, you don't just retake it as you might be able to in a recording session. You're still trying to create this feeling of a concert. The Royal Albert Hall was the very first venue I was completely astounded by. I first went when I think I was about 10 or 11, and the school I went to, Ulverston Victoria High, had organised tickets for people to go and watch the Royal Marines Band at the Royal Albert Hall. And so I went with my dad, and I just remember walking to the outside of the hall and looking at all the doors and thinking, what on earth can be inside? There are all these doors. I was overwhelmed actually by the mushrooms on the ceiling, by the setting, the seats. Before anybody had even played a note of music, the hall had just kind of completely taken my breath away. And so then that was the moment where I thought, that's my dream, musical dream, to play in the Royal Albert Hall. And then I've been lucky enough since to play there quite a number of times. On every single occasion, it feels like such a privilege and such an honour. And there have been some really memorable concerts there. The proms are always memorable. The last night of the proms, I'll never ever forget in the hall. But also I remember seeing a soul gig at the Royal Albert Hall, and that was just one of those nights that you'll never forget. I think I was really looking forward to going to a lot of new places over the past year. There are lots of cities that I hadn't been to before, lots of halls that everybody had said, oh, it's amazing to play there. Katowice in Poland, and I was looking forward to going to new places in Germany. But really now it just feels like such a gift. Anytime you can go to a hall, it just feels like such a huge privilege, and especially to be able to go to the Royal Albert Hall to do this concert just feels amazing. This time has obviously been so difficult for so many people in different ways. And I think for me, the best thing about music is connection, like that sense of communication that you can set up with a whole room of people in a concert, or being part of an orchestra or a band and that sense of community. So I really wanted to try and replicate some of that. So I set up a virtual scratch orchestra to try and make some of that online, but you don't get that same sense from technology. It is amazing, but you don't get that same sense of being with people. So for me, it's been kind of holding on to that and remembering what it feels like to play to people, be in a room with people, talk to people, what that feels like, and keeping that going. Yeah, I've been in touch with people online, but also it was quite strange when we went into lockdown because I'm so used to just kind of never being at home or in the same place. So I actually was able to reconnect with some friends and old musicians friends who I hadn't spoken to in a long time, or was always just guilty of being absolutely terrible at getting back to because we had this time. So it's been really nice to value relationships a lot more. And I think a lot of people will take that forward from this time of having more time to spend with um, people that they love and people that are close to them, and valuing that even more. Oh, well, I would love to hear Rite of Spring because I think I've only ever heard it once live in concerts. I'd love to hear that live because I've listened to it so much, but there's nothing like that experience of feeling it live. I would love to see Caroline Shaw's. Well, it's not for orchestra, it's for voices, but her Partita for voices. And she's one of my favourite composers, and that is just a completely magical piece of music. And what else? Um, Mahler's Fifth Symphony. I'm not the best at listening to symphonies at home. You know, I don't lose patience, but it's not the same as being in a concert hall and seeing it live. So if I was able to go and watch that now, I would. I think working out what you want to say with music is a really important thing. So, what is your mission as a musician? What are you trying to bring to society, to the world by playing music, as well as to yourself? Because it can be amazingly fulfilling. We can learn so much from it, but also we can spread a lot of joy. It might be that you want to encourage people to question things with the music you're playing. You might want to raise awareness about a specific topic. You might simply want to tell stories through the music you play. So I think to kind of work out what it is you'd like to say, and then to not be afraid to start things on your own. So whether that's organizing a concert with friends, organizing little events to start playing music to other people, and really thinking about what you can do. You know, don't necessarily wait for other people to give it to you. To go out there and try and do it. And quite often, I think, especially in this country, we can be quite oh well, no, they won't want to listen to me. Why would they want to listen to me? But I think remembering that every person has got something individual to say with music, and don't be afraid to share your story.